Hey, welcome to Weld.com, home of Tig Time. Hi, I'm Mr. Tig, and I want to show you a product today that was requested by our fans in the forum. Now, first of all, I just want you to know when I'm testing a piece of equipment, I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly about these machines. And there are certain features I really like and certain ones that I won't like. So you need to know that I write my own scripts, so I'm going to evaluate this piece of equipment. And this one is really designed for newbies. When I say that, somebody that's never TIG welded, they just want to get started in their garage. And this particular machine, it's a longevity machine. It's called the TIGWeld 200SX. Now, you need to know that I test an awful lot of equipment. Very few of them ever make it to the show because they're just no good. So I'm going to go through this one here for the first time and weld with it. You'll join me in welding with it for the very first time. So this is an AC-DC machine. It goes from 10 amps to 190, 195 amps. It's dual voltage, meaning that it runs off 110 or 220. And I like to give the highlights. The good things that are starting to come out of these imports is that they give us an adapter plug. And anyway, this is just a handy thing. We used to have to go down to Home Depot and buy all the apparatus, put it all together, and we're not electricians, so we'd sure like to have something like this. So that's a good feature. This machine does TIG and stick, and we're not going to show you the stick portion. I've got some other guys that do better stick welding than I do. So anyway, it also has a high frequency start and a lift start, and we're going to show you both of those as well. So to get started, I want to go through the second feature, and that's the Tig Torch. And this is what I call a common made mistake. This is a 26 style torch. And if you'll notice, it's got a button on it. And there's a place on the panel there that if you hit panel, whatever the amperage is, you could be at 100 amps, and when you hit that button, boom, you're on at 100 amps. And if you're at 190 amps, you hit that and you're on. And there's going to be a couple of times when we're going to need that. So, I mean, it's not a bad feature, it's just not your everyday feature. So if you started getting into welding where you need to be able to manipulate and do tubes and miters and get into positions, you're probably going to want to change this out to a little smaller torch. I like the 9F as in flex head, even the 17 flex head with the little short stubby parts on it. That allows you to get into places you need to get. But you know what, this is starter. This gets you going, and then you can just keep upgrading as you go. So I like to call the 26 the club. It's difficult to use. So I'm going to use it, and I'll go through AC and DC with it so you can see. I've got 332 tungsten in it. I've got it ground to a point. So I'm going to start off welding DC. And again, when I hit this, or if I use the option, I can go to a foot control. So I have variability. So I can make this pedal go from 10 amps to 190s just by squeezing it. Now, when I first got this thing and started pushing it and playing with it, I thought, well, I'm not real pleased with it. But after playing with it for a little bit, it's not all bad. So the thing about it is it's got a feature here that you got to be very careful how you set it, because on the machine, you're going to set the machine at a full 190 amps, and this is a potentiometer, meaning that you can set it at the full 190, squeeze, and you're going to get 190 amps the max. Or you can fine tune it, and you can turn it down to, well, you can turn it down to 30 amps. So it lights off at 10, and full depression gives you 30 amps. So if you're doing some really fine stuff, you don't want to blow holes, you set it right here. So it's kind of a limiter for you. And now here's the stick portion of it. And like I say, I do some stick. I don't do a lot, but all TIG machines are stick machines. So they're constant current. You can plug this in, put it in the stick mode, and away you go. I got a ground clamp, very common with all welding machines. It's fairly heavy duty. Again, this machine is only an $895 machine, so I consider a newbie good starter machine. Now, I've got something else that came with it, and it looks like a wire brush, and if you pull hard enough, you can pull the bristles out. So this thing here has very little value to me, and this came with it. And I'm not sure why it came with it. You know, in the United States, we have to be very concerned about good safety features and shielding and things like that. So anyway, here's what I'm going to recommend you do with this. Now, I'm going to recommend grabbing a welding helmet that'll give you all the safety features that you need. Now this is a quick change. It's a digital welding helmet. It'll go from, I think, 9 to 13, maybe 9 to 14. I haven't checked it out yet. I'll be using it for the first time. But you don't have to get one with graphics. It adds a little cost to it, but these things are so light. But get yourself a good welding helmet. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to set up the machine, turn it on. I want to go through the settings because this is the first time that I'll be setting this thing up and welding for you. So let me go around front and we'll get started. Okay, now here's the setup of the machine. I like to just go ahead and plug in the things that are pretty self-explanatory. This one is the ground, and you follow it, and that's the clamp right there. So that's taken care of. This right here, if you take a look at this, this is actually the torch, and that's the power cable. And so it screws on right here. Now, I'll go ahead and tighten that in a minute, but I want to point out something to you. This right here is live. It's a safety hazard, so be very, very cautious because that will be hot when you depress the foot pedal. So if somebody's leaning on that and they're grounded, then it's going to cause quite a buzz. So you may want to take a look at doing something different here, covering up, keeping it away from people. This right here, when I plug this in, and you'll see it comes right out of the torch. This one means that I've got the button control. So when I pull the trigger, or push the trigger right there, I go live. Okay, so I'm going to take this one off, and right now I'm going to go ahead and use the pedal. And it's very much the same plug-in. It's just that it's the pedal. Okay, so this portion is taken care of. We're not stick welding today, so I didn't put the stick electrode holder in there. If you're stick welding, go ahead and do that. So that's taken care of, and I want to move up on the controls. And take a look right here. This is a pre-flow. Pre-flow meaning that when you hit the foot pedal, it's not going to go live. It's going to go live with a slight delay. It's going to put a few seconds. In fact, this is only like a half a second. That's 0.4 seconds, and you can turn it all the way up to 1 second. All that's doing is it's purging out your system. Well, a lot of us don't like to wait. What we like to do is we like to use the post flow. Now, here's what the post flow will do for you. Typically, you put your post flow at 5 seconds. Now, it's what it does for you. You hit the foot control, and all you're doing is you're hearing gas flowing. And so that's good. While the gas is flowing, go ahead and initiate your arc. That's just a key secret. Now, when you finish welding, you don't want your tungsten to turn dark on you, so you put argon post flow on there for about 5 seconds. And it's good on the puddle too, so it helps solidify the material for 5 seconds. So those two functions are now taken care of. Now we have to go up to this one. This is the power and how many amps you're going to put. So right now I've got it set at 190 amps. So this machine will put out 190 amps, but you know what? I'm controlling it. I'm not letting it go up to 190 amps. I'm only going to let it go up to about 60. So I've still got more available, but I have to make the change here. Now, the only time that I can use this button right here or this rheostat is when I have this on foot pedal. If I go back on power panel, everything comes live, whatever's on the panel. So I'm in foot pedal. Now, if I decide to go back to this torch, I go back to the panel and I get what I get. Whatever's up here is what I get, and I get it immediately. So just know that. Okay, now here's another feature on here, and it's kind of a quandary to me because it says clearance effect, and I wasn't quite sure what that was. Now, I've tested a lot of imports, and there's sometimes, you know, some communication issues on these machines, but this one happened to be a typo, so I'm sure it'll get corrected. But what it really means is cleaning effect. And cleaning meaning that this is a square wave machine and you can change the cleaning balance. So you'll see on some machines it's balance. And this one right here has a 0. That means it's got a balanced wave to it. And then it goes into the negative numbers. And then it goes into the positive numbers, depending how you want to balance the wave. How much cleaning do you want to get out of your square wave? So right now I've got it set on 0. It's not going to have any effect right now because I'm running on DC. Now this button right here says AC and DC. I'm going to toggle this back and forth just to show you how it works. But we're going to run DC, that's DC negative for stainless steel. And if you look up here, there's a function and it says TIG and stick. I like to toggle it. If I'm in stick, the TIG is no longer working, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on TIG. Okay, I've got high frequency start or lift arc start. Now high frequency means that you hold the arc or the tungsten very close to where you're about to weld, and high frequency, when you hit the foot pedal, will come on automatically and it'll initiate the arc and you have a puddle. Now if you decide to go to the lift arc is a different story, and there's some areas that you can't have high frequency, especially next to towers at airports. So what you do is you actually touch the part exactly where you want to weld. When you hit the foot control and lift, then you're going to get arc initiation. So it's called lift start. I don't use it very often, but it's nice to have it there. So I'm going to go back to HF. Now the only other thing I have a little concern with are these toggles look like on off switches. And if they were just blanked out, it'd probably make it a lot more clear. But just notice that we've got the I and the O on here. So make sure you toggle it in the right position. Now the only other thing that I want to show you is something that's happened over the years is that we've gone from the settings, most of the imports have had these regulators that have been liters per minute. And it's very difficult to transfer all of our data to liters per minute. We like CFH, cubic feet per hour, at least in the United States. So I noticed that these are dual gauges now, meaning that you can read it in liters per minute and cubic feet per hour. So that is a coup. That's a good plus. Also on the back of the machine where you hook up your line, your argon line, it's a positive fitting now. It's no longer just a barb fitting. And that's the first that I've seen in the imports. So kudos to whoever put that on there. So let me get my gear on and get started. Okay, I just welded 2 pieces of stainless steel. I made a corner joint. I didn't add any filler material, but I just tacked and then just did a fusion weld using about 50 amps total on this thing. But you can see that I don't get a lot of great coverage with this type of cup, so I'd recommend changing this over, put a little stubby gas lens in, and you'll get a lot better color on your stainless steel. But it handled it well. It was stable all the way through. And I didn't go to the 190 amps that this machine puts out. Usually you want to test a machine on the lower side just to see if it's stable, and it did a pretty good job. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to set this up and do some aluminum welding. So we're going to go from DC to AC welding, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use a foot control, and I'm going to do a little bit heavier aluminum because that's really where you like to test the machine. Aluminum is more of a challenge on a machine, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, now that I've finished the DC or stainless, you can do steel, Inconel, titaniums on DC, and remember it's DC negative. I'm going to go ahead and flip this toggle switch to AC, and when I do that I can do aluminum and magnesium. So I've got some aluminum set up here. It's a little heavier, it's a little more challenging on the machine. I'm probably going to need 125, 130 amps to weld this. So I want to double check, and where it says panel control, I want to hit panel control, and it says that my machine's ready to produce 195 amps. I just have to go to my foot control now and change that rheostat. So I did, and it's set at 195 amps. So I got full control now. Make sure you go back on foot pedal. So I'll go around, I'm going to do a bead on plate. Now this little button right here, this little knob, it is cleaning. So let's call it the cleaning action or cleaning effect. And I don't know what -1 means. I don't know what percent that is or anything else. So you're just going to have to play with it yourself. I'm going to go to a -3, whatever that is. I'm going to test it out and see how much cleaning action really is taking place. Okay, now that cleaning action that I set on a -3, I think that was 70% negative. And the reason I say that is what I'm looking at in the weld here, and we'll do a close-up here in just a minute, is how much aluminum oxide did it remove. And you know, the aluminum oxide's melting at about 3,700 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a thin membrane, but it has to be bombarded with this high frequency, and it takes all of it off before you weld. So when you start welding aluminum, make sure that you see a puddle first. Once you see the puddle, then you can start dabbing filler material. And when you finish your weld, if you want to see how much cleaning action really took place, take a look at your weld and look in the heat affected zone. That's the area that's right where the liquid stopped and the solid began. And I have about a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch cleaning on each side. That's plenty. Now, if I were to adjust that knob to a balance, to a 0 or a -1 or somewhere greater than, I'm getting more cleaning, but it's wasted energy. So my tungsten will probably start balling up on me. Just know that 70% is probably about the mean to start with. So on this machine, it's a -3. Take a look at this, and you know, the machine performed very well. So I want to thank you for watching TIG Time. I'm Mr. Tig.